Welcome to the Building a Concept IBM Watson System. In this unit, we will talk about the artificial intelligence of the concept IBM Watson and the technology behind the analytical capabilities of the concept IBM Watson. There are two parts in this unit. First is how the concept IBM Watson system can understand a question, and second is how will the concept IBM Watson will analyze data to come up with an answer. There are two main technologies that does this. OpenNLP, that allows a question to be understood using artificial intelligence to parse the question, let it go through rules and finally understand the question. Once the question is understood, it will now then call another program to find the answer or answers. For an answer to be given, it has to be researched using any available data. This is where the UIMA architecture comes in. UIMA, or Unstructured Information Management Architecture, allows reading of unstructured data. In this unit, we will examine and see how the concept IBM Watson can understand the question and how it will find the answers. After completing this unit, we should have an idea of how the concept IBM Watson understand a question and how it will analyze attempts to get an answer. In this project, the query panel will replace IBM Watson's capability of hearing the question and giving a verbal answer, but the concept of how a question is understood, processed and answered will remain the same on a conceptual level. From the query, a question will be entered, question will be analyzed, and when the question is understood, the answer will be researched and the findings pieced together, reanalyzed, and the best answer will be sent back to the query panel. OpenNLP, the open source version of Psych, that is an artificial intelligence project that attempts to assemble a hierarchy of knowledge represented by what is known and are used in everyday common language. OpenNLP is used when a question is entered. The question on how it is patterned, what words are used and how the words are used, what words are used before or after a certain word will allow the question to be understood. The more parameters to be used in analyzing the words and the more pattern of groups they are used, the more the question will be understood correctly. Since we just want to learn the concepts of how the IBM Watson understands a question using an artificial intelligence application, we will limit ourselves to simple questions that will not need to go through an elaborate OpenNLP environment. In this exercise, you will learn to install OpenNLP, set up OpenNLP, create the query panel. Now let us talk about UIMA, or Unstructured Information Management Architecture. This is the heart and soul of IBM Watson when it analyzes tons and tons of unstructured data. In the previous century, data can only be digested if they are in a form that a query can extract data from. Data has to be stored in a structured form, so when analysis of data is needed, tools standardized to query structured data can acquire the information needed. By the 21st century, data that is being consumed started to grow and the form slowly moved away from traditional structured data to semi-structured and unstructured data. The traditional query tools started to become limited. As of today, only about 20% of the total available data is structured, and a lot of valuable information that are in the form of structured information are not utilized. UIMA solves this problem. It has the ability to query unstructured data to get information needed. It can query unstructured data, convert unstructured data to structured data, and it can do real-time analytics on static and dynamic data. IBM Watson uses UIMA for real-time content analytics. UIMA pulls the U, or the unstructured data, whether on free-form documents, website text, data in audio and video, and does the M, or manages them by pulling the information at the right sequence, storing them, further analyzing them, and getting the information you need accurately. There is a UIMA software development kit available as open source that can be used to develop applications analyzing unstructured data. IBM developed this application and donated it to the Apache open source organization as open source. So it can be downloaded freely and its environment can be used consistent with the license agreement of open source software. This is the typical UIMA development cycle. You will go through this development cycle in a series of exercises included in this course. Let us first go to the exercise setting up the UIMA environment. In this exercise you will learn what are the needed components to create a UIMA development environment in Eclipse. Install the necessary components. Configure the UIMA SDK. Enter TTA text. In this exercise, you will learn how to create the UIMA components, test the components, create the apps for analytics. This is a 5-unit exercise. 1. Create the type description. 2. Create the annotator. 3. Create the analysis engine. 4. Test the analysis engine. 5. Create the application. Now that you have done your analysis, it is time to put the data that you gathered into a form of structured data. The CAS consumer will get the information in your CAS and put it into a database, a structured flat file, or to an XML document. There are other options on how to do this, but the important thing is, your unstructured data is now in a structured form. The CAS consumer will read all of your collections from the CAS, Common Analysis Structure, which is a result of reading unstructured data. It will then write these information into your structured data repository so that traditional tools can be used to read it. In this exercise you will learn how to write a CAS consumer that will read your CAS collections and write it to a form of structured data. In a high-level overview, you will download the necessary components: Java SDK, UIMA SDK, Eclipse. Then set up the UIMA development environment in Eclipse. Then you will create the necessary components like the type description, the annotator, the analysis engine, test the analysis engine, then create the application. Having completed this unit, you should be able to learn about OpenNLP, the artificial intelligence, the concept IBM Watson uses to understand a question. Learned about UIMA and how it can get data from a document.